Hello, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Amanda and I am so glad that you clicked on this video and are interested in seeing what I'm up to today. Today I'm actually going to be making a nutrient-dense chicken, fruit, vegetable, rice bowl. I've made this dish for myself using tofu and I love it that way. I am making this one with chicken, but please keep in mind, originally this dish started out as a tofu inspiration, so definitely substitute tofu in if that is your preferred protein. Let's just get started and I'll tell you a little bit more about it as we go along. All right, first off, I've got a little bowl here and I'm gonna chop up some mushrooms. So a lot of times, you know, mushrooms will have dirt on them, so you just wanna make sure you give them a good brushing off. In the YouTube community, creator community, there is a huge controversy, not controversy, that's the wrong word, but it's like, do you have an intro? Do you not have an intro? To me, it feels awkward to start the video, which I did for my last one, without saying, hi, my name is, you know? But there is a good point in just jumping in and getting to the point of the video too. So I don't know. I decided to go ahead and put my intro back in, but do you prefer watching videos with or without the intros, or have you even paid attention? I'm just curious. I'm, you know, a fairly new YouTuber, about 3 months in now, and I'm learning as I go and absolutely love bringing these cooking videos to you and teaching and just chatting with you really, because I'm not a recipe-based cooking show. I'm here to just kind of visit and cook along with you. I mean, there's Buddha bowls all over Pinterest and the internet, and a couple of months ago, I threw together some ingredients and it was so delicious that I think I made it like every other day for about a week until I finally was like, okay, I'm good. I can go on to my next thing. I get stuck onto favorite meals, like especially I love vegetarian meals at lunchtime. So one of my other videos, a avocado wrap. Oh my gosh, when I got onto that one, I made it every day for forever until I finally was like, okay, I'm good and I could take a break from it. I'm just a home chef. or home cook, I guess. I mean, been cooking since I was probably 15 or 16 and I love it. You're gonna wanna cut up more mushrooms than you think you need because they will cook down quite a bit. This dish is super extremely customizable. If you don't like mushrooms, leave them out. Maybe you like onions, you could saute some onions in instead. And for people who need to prep up lunches to take to work, this would make a very good meal prep. And I'm gonna show you how I would meal prep it at the end. All right, so I've got a good size amount of mushrooms. So I'm gonna set those aside, and while I'm at my cutting board, I'm going to go ahead and cut up some chicken. I've got 3 pretty decent sized chicken breasts here, which normally I probably would only do 2, but since I actually do want some extras for some leftovers, I'm gonna drizzle this with some avocado oil. You could use olive oil, you know, whatever you like. Got salt. I just did an Amanda thing. I was gonna season it after I cut it, but you know what? That's what happens when you're cooking in the kitchen. Sometimes you just kind of lose track, or the kids come in or whatever. So we roll with the punches because that's just how we go. So I will finish seasoning it after. That way the seasoning gets coated all around the whole chicken. And I want some good chunks. I'm trying to go for like a cube shape today. It's a rough cube shape. I mean, like this obviously is not a cube, but you know, chickens are not exactly square either. Now, if you're making this with tofu, you can make really cute, pretty squares. So I'm just gonna chop up this chicken and be right back. Okay, let me put this chicken in this bowl, clear my cutting board. I'm actually so glad that I made a mistake. Not that that was really a mistake, but on my cooking channel here, I hope that I actually make mistakes because they happen in the kitchen and I make them all the time, but I'm really good at like pivoting and making it work and like, oh, that didn't go how I wanted it and how to save the dinner. So when I make these kind of, like I said, mistakes, even though they're not really a mistake, on camera, that's awesome because it gives me the perfect opportunity to show you how to, you know, fix it. Like in my Greek steak one, when I pulled the meat off the grill too soon, it's like, oops, oh well, put it back on the grill, no big deal. I just put some garlic powder and some onion powder and paprika and a little bit more salt. And then this is totally optional, but this is just white flour that I'm going to toss this chicken with a little bit. And like I said, that's optional, but it'll kind of give a little bit of a coating to the chicken as we cook it. You can leave it off. You could do it to your tofu also. As you can see, the chicken is just loosely coated. You can't see any of the white anymore. You don't want to have so much flour that you see patches of white. And we're gonna go over to the stove and do some cooking. All right, so I actually preheated my skillet a little bit, and I'm gonna use some butter. If you are doing this as a vegan dish, obviously you would use olive oil or avocado oil. I'm actually gonna mix a little bit of my butter with some avocado. It helps the butter not brown. And, oops, I didn't quite mean to use that much, but you know, more butter, better. All right, I'm gonna start with the mushrooms, and I wanna saute them down. Oh, it smells so good in here, guys. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper. We'll get these sauteed down and then we'll cook our chicken. I just decided, because garlic makes everything better, I'm gonna go ahead and put in some of this garlic paste. Normally I would go ahead and just crush up some fresh, but I had this in the fridge and it's convenient. And sometimes when you're in the middle of cooking, it's nice to just be able to grab this fast when you decide, hey, garlic would go good here. I'm gonna go ahead and put the mushrooms back in this bowl, and then we will start cooking up our chicken. So here's what you wanna know about cooking the chicken. If you're using a stainless steel pan like I am, you want to make sure that you get it really hot and that you put enough oil down at the bottom. I'm using avocado oil here, and I'm just putting enough to coat the bottom of the skillet. Not really deep frying here or anything, it's just coating the skillet. Oh, my bottle leaked on me. You can see the oil shimmering across, so we know it's nice and hot, and we're gonna cook this in batches. If you did it all at once, it would overcrowd the pan and it would not cook up and get crispy. You wanna be able to spread it around and leave it alone. If you try to mess with it a bunch, it will stick to your pan. Oh, I was gonna see if you could see Pug Dog Watson is laying down by my feet, just hoping that I will drop some chicken. He knows that I'm pretty klutzy sometimes. As I'm checking, if it sticks, then I don't try to flip it. But if it will toss, then I'll go ahead and toss it around. And so if you were using tofu, you took it the same way in this step. I don't know about you, but when I'm cooking something and I need to babysit it by the stove, a lot of times I check out my fitness tracker and like, oh, I need steps. So I'll sit here and do steps while I'm cooking, or yes, I've been known to do some squats. Anybody who has followed me along on Instagram for the past like 2 years knows that I started a fitness and health journey, and I've lost like, I don't know, 4 dress sizes. I try to incorporate movement every day, all day. I didn't change my diet other than watching portion sizes, and I just stick to eating whole, healthy, yummy, delicious food. You see that I cook with butter and oil. Don't shy away from those nutritious fats, just all about balance. So get your steps in and drinking your water while your chicken is cooking. Oh yeah, and this is also a good time. If you are enjoying this show, please consider hitting the subscribe button, tapping that like button, and leaving a comment. So I'm gonna just continue letting this cook. Oh, the way that I check to make sure it's all the way done is I take one of the big fat juicy pieces. Well, see, this one I can still tell. Here, let me bring this up to you. Okay, like this one you can still see it's pink. But like, let's say if I was suspecting one is cooked all the way through, I just go ahead and cut it in half and see if it's cooked all the way through. And, you know, again, I'm a home cook. I'm not too concerned about it looking super pretty at the end. I just want to make sure that I'm not serving raw chicken to my family. See how that one's still raw in the middle? When you're cutting, trying to get all your chicken pieces about the same size helps, obviously, in the cooking stage. Okay, so this happens sometimes, especially if you don't use enough oil. The flour is kind of building up on my skillet. So I'm gonna show you a little trick so that you don't get burnt at the bottom. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of water to my skillet. And then I can kind of work up those bits. Now that's gonna take away some of the crusty, like if you're trying to build up a crust on your chicken, but I didn't want all those brown bits to start getting burnt. It's just a way to kind of save the skillet. This actually kind of creates a little bit of a sauce too, if you wanted a sauce. I kind of don't want a sauce tonight, but I'll just scoop out the chicken when I'm done. But see, now the bottom of my skillet is clear and you're not left with all that burnt on that you can't scrub off in the sink. Just another way to do it. It's hard when you're doing chicken in batches. So here's my first batch. And then I kind of overcrowded the pan on the second batch because I tend to do that. I get impatient. It's one of my downfalls. I could never be a chef in a kitchen because I do everything my own way and I make it up differently every time I do it. So I'm just checking a couple of these pieces. They're still needing a little bit more time. So I'm gonna lower the temperature and just kind of let them sort of simmer, I guess, now in this sort of saucy liquid. I've got a spoon with a slot so I can pull out the chicken, and then we can build some of these delicious vegetable bowls, vegetable fruit bowls. I need to come up with a name for this dish before I hit publish. Okay, so I cooked some brown rice in the Instapot earlier. I basically took 2 cups of brown rice and 2 cups of water with a generous heaping tablespoon or so of butter, and then I pressure cooked it for 20 minutes. Okay, the sky is literally the limit when you're building these bowls. So I'm starting off with a small portion of rice, and I'm going to put some spinach around. Watson's growling at me. You don't even like spinach. I don't get it, Watson. Oh, I need a spoon. Some of these sauteed mushrooms. Look, remember this bowl was almost heaping full and it sautés down to almost nothing, I tell you. So spread around some mushrooms, carrots, and then these are some pepitos for a little bit of crunch. And these are roasted ones. Add our chicken. And I'm gonna do this as a build your own bowl for the family so everyone can pick what they want. These are actually frozen mango chunks. I just let these thaw out and they're great. You could also use pineapples or peaches, you know, whatever fruit sounds good to you. You could put avocado in this dish. Okay, I remembered I had some red onion, or yeah, it's called a red onion. It looks purple to me, but some onion in my refrigerator, so I'm going to add a little bit of that too. I rarely use my paring knife. It feels kind of awkward. I'm a chef's knife girl. I use my chef's knives for everything. But I do have a little paring knife. I just don't use it very often. And it's like, I'm feeling a little awkward. Yeah, we did that for color. And then last but not least, I'm going to use this sweet chili sauce as a dressing per se. And drizzle it across. Hello, yum. Show you what we got. I mean, isn't that so amazingly fresh, delicious, vibrant, and I mean, that's healthy screaming at you from a plate. So eat your colors and enjoy. Okay, so like I said, this makes an amazing lunch. So I just had it for dinner. There's still a lot of food here because my kids just left to go to Taekwondo with Dad, so they're gonna eat when they get back. but I just want to wrap this up. So I'm going to show you really quick how to, prep this for meal prepping. You can build it in a flat kind of container like this if you want, or I love the mason jar craze that's popular on Pinterest, especially if you have a vacuum sealer like I do. So I'm gonna put the wet ingredients on the bottom and like the lettuce, the spinach on the top. Put down a couple of, like a tablespoon or two of the sweet chili sauce, some of the mango. So if I was gonna like meal prep this up for like a week, I would obviously have cooked a lot more, but I'm just made a little bit of extra so that I could have some for dinner and for lunch, not have like too much, because I'm not actually doing this as a real meal prep. Although I do have my COVID shot, my second COVID shot coming up, and I've heard that it can be a doozy. So, I might be glad that I prepped up some lunch here. All right, put in some chicken and then go with the rice. Layering it like this will make it so that the spinach doesn't get soggy, because if you put the spinach on the bottom, then by the time you go to eat your meal, it would be very soggy. So just cram that down in there with some of the carrot and some of the pepitos on top, because we want them to stay nice and crunchy. And I'm not gonna vacuum seal this because I'll probably eat this tomorrow. But if I wanted it to last all week, and if you've got a vacuum sealer, vacuum seal it up. I've got a special attachment that goes on the mason jar. Otherwise, I love these plastic lids. I'm a mason jar fanatic. I waited till this all cooled down so it wouldn't also, you don't want the chicken to like steam up the spinach. Put it in the refrigerator, and then tomorrow I can pull it out. Some people are successful at shaking them up. I don't ever get the ingredients distributed well enough for that. So I like to just dump them upside down in a big bowl and eat it that way. So I hope you enjoyed these bowls. I'll see you on the next video. Bye guys.